Hey guys, this is Ken with Rise Marketing here for another installment of our Small Business Friday. Today we're going to be talking about something that we kind of hinted towards in our last video. It's going to be 3 steps to creating a balanced marketing strategy. So a lot of marketing companies and a lot of just businesses, they want to have a balanced marketing strategy. A lot of marketing companies talk about getting a really balanced marketing approach for their clients and all this kind of stuff. And it's a lot of people out there that say these words, that talk about having a balanced marketing approach, that I don't think really ever comes to fruition. They kind of more talk those talking points because it sounds good and because that's what business is supposed to sound like. So business owners or marketing companies, that's just kind of what they do. They just talk about these things. So today we're actually going to show what it takes to do that. And it's actually pretty simple. So step 1 is going to be getting an effective website, right? That's step 1. Everything that you do is going to be marketing, advertising, any of that stuff, even your customer service and all these kind of, your customer support, all that stuff comes back to your website. So you want to make sure you have an effective website ready to go. So some points for that. Obviously, some of this stuff's pretty simple. I'm not going to go through every single point, but number 1, make sure it's mobile responsive. With, I think there's 5.5 billion Google searches, over half of those are on mobile devices. People use their phones all the time. They're always with everybody. This is no secret. Every marketing guy in the world has been preaching this. So just make sure it's mobile responsive. Make sure that no matter what device, your website's going to perform well, and it's not going to be hiding or making any kind of weird layouts for important parts of your website. So then it comes to security and technical details. Some of this would actually kind of fall into technical SEO a little bit, but just make sure it's fast. Make sure that it has an SSL certificate so Google knows it's secure. Google Chrome, their browser, one of the most popular browser out there, is actually a lot of the times not showing your website at all if the SSL certificate isn't on there, if it doesn't say HTTPS up on the address bar. So make sure you get it. It's super easy. But then the main thing is just make sure your load times are good. Make sure your website's not taking forever. Usually compressing images and making sure your code is clean is going to be the most important thing to make sure your site is moving at a proper speed. And then the last thing is just make sure it's designed with user experience in mind. We see this a lot when people first come to us. They have this very basic website or something, but that they're really proud of and they put a lot of time into, but then they're focusing on the wrong things. They're putting their Facebook page like the first thing you see or something like that, and then they're putting this picture of their family on there to tell them about their story because they're really happy, which all that is good. You want people to go to your Facebook page, you want people to know who you are and kind of tell your story. That's all great, but there's a time and an area for that to be presented on the website, and making sure that you're getting that key information, those specific that specific information that actually like pushes people to make decisions and it influences their decisions. That stuff is important. If I have to go through a website and scroll to find pricing and go through 4 different pages to figure out what the features are, what it actually does, like I'm usually going to bounce off and go look somewhere else, just because people are lazy, where they want things quick, they want things easy. So make sure your information's there so they can make an easy decision. They don't have to go searching for all the details that they're going to need. The last thing here is just quit hiding your call to actions. I see it all the time. You've got to make sure your call to action is there readily and often. Like you want to make sure that it's multiple places throughout your website. So you may have a great looking website with awesome information and a great product or service that your company offers, but if you're not converting, then what's the big deal? I mean, your call to action is just so important. So just kind of a visual for you. I won't spend much time on this, but your website should be the funnel. All your advertising up here, everything that you're doing, whether it's Google AdWords, whether it's your SEO with Google, Yahoo, your local SEO with your reviews on Google business pages, social, even traditional stuff, it all comes back to your website. I mean, if you have really good signage or you have billboards and stuff, it's still going to have your website on there. It's going to have your phone number, your website, your basic information. So people are going to come here. So make sure your website is built in a way that it funnels to either rentals or just conversions, leads for your business. So step 2 now, getting your tactics in place. What this means is identifying what marketing tactics and strategies you're going to use and then go after that. Obviously, this is all about being balanced, so it's going to be a decent like, I guess, a healthy mix of all the marketing strategies. But really, anything you do, all marketing and advertising efforts are trying to accomplish two important things. That's increase your visibility and build trust. If your marketing and your advertising are doing those two things, you're going to generate more business for your business. So when it comes to being a balanced, like we talked about in our last video, it doesn't mean that it's all equal. It just means that we're using a healthy mix, and we're adjusting, and we're making sure that we're putting the right emphasis areas in the right places. Normally, online is going to be 80 to 90% of your marketing strategy, with traditional being a little bit less. It could vary depending on your business. But when it comes to online marketing, you got SEO, you got pay-per-click, online reviews, and social. I'm not going to spend a ton of time on these just for the sake of time. We'll cover this stuff in some other videos. But make sure you get your SEO done. It's just crazy if you have a website and you're not doing SEO, you're in trouble. You're not consistently improving, you're not growing your ranking, and you're not getting as much traffic as you could. PPC, Google ads, those kind of advertising, Facebook ads, all that stuff, YouTube ads, whatever those sources that you're going after, those channels that you're using, make sure that you have a healthy budget and that you're adjusting over time. You're using conversions and things like that to make sure you're not overspending. You know what's actually working for you. Online reviews are great. Don't go hog wild with them and just go and get like 100 reviews in one day. Google's obviously going to flag that, but make sure it's just a consistent part of your monthly marketing strategy. Getting your current customers or clients to leave you 2 to 5 reviews a month, you're going to be fine. A year down the road, now you've got a good healthy balance of a lot of reviews over a consistent period of time, which Google loves and even users like to see. So social media, pretty simple here. Make sure you use it, be consistent. Don't just post a bunch of stuff and then disappear for a year. If you really want to be effective, you've got to be consistent and you've got to create engaging or useful content. Okay, now traditional marketing. This is stuff that may not always apply to you depending on what industry you're in. However, I still believe traditional marketing is a good resource for your business if you're trying to market yourself, especially in local, like rural areas and things like that. But I've kind of broke these down into maybe, usually no, and yes. I will not tell you yay or nay, you shouldn't do this, you should do this. That's your call as a business owner. But I will kind of give you some ideas of what we've seen and what we tend to kind of do for our clients. So mailers, flyers, radio ads, newspaper listings, stuff like that, I give that a maybe. It just depends on if it works or not. Mailers are really expensive. Flyers are time consuming, and most times they just go straight in the trash. Same thing with mailers. Radio ads can be good depending on your reach on those radio stations. Newspaper listings are garbage usually because who reads the newspaper anymore? So again, I'm not going to say no. I actually give those a maybe. Those might be good for you. But it all comes down to what are you getting off of that? Can you actually track your results? Are you getting a return on your investment for those? I doubt it if you're using mailers. We have a lot of clients that come to us that have been using mailers, and it's just a ton of money. Now, it may work for you. You may be, marketing to a senior citizen demographic, and they love their mailers. They just send it to like a certain community that's a retirement community or something. That might really work. I know companies here in town that do that, and it works really well for them. So again, just make sure you're understanding what your return is on that. Usually these are a no. Phone book ads, yellow page ads, magazines, things like that. Unless they're specific to your industry and you know it's working, I always tend to shy away from those. The biggest thing for me that are for sure yeses on traditional marketing is relationship with local organizations and companies. We do business with a lot of storage facilities across the country, and a good resource for them has been moving companies. They target moving companies. I know there's guys here in town that have they're real estate agents who also have a moving company. So they kind of have these relationships that benefit one another. So that's the kind of relationship-driven marketing that is really important, and that still fits under traditional. Also, make sure you do, if you're for a local store or your retail or something, make sure you have good signage that your brand's out there. But it all comes back to this. Everything you're doing, can I track the results? Can I know what's happening? So, step 3. This is the part where I think most businesses and business owners or marketing managers or whoever kind of fall off. They don't have an actual consistent adjustment plan in place. Anyone who tells you or makes guarantees that says, I'm going to set up your marketing, you're going to get this return, I guarantee you're going to rank number one, you're going to do all these things. They're full of it. There's no way they can guarantee those things. And for your business, it's going to be different than a different business that they're doing it for. So to really have an effective marketing strategy and a balanced marketing strategy, you need to have a consistent adjustment plan in place. So adjust periodically. I still want to make sure everyone realizes patience is still important. I don't want you freaking out every other day saying, oh, I'm not ranking number one yet. I'm not doing this. I don't have enough traffic to my website. Patience is still important. Give yourself time for everything to kind of start to turn and start to actually get you some results. So I kind of liken it to like exercise when it comes to online marketing. You're not gonna, get immediate results. It's gonna take time, consistent amount of work to actually lose weight and to get the results you want. It's not gonna happen after 2 times to the gym, even though we want it to. Every few months is reasonable depending on what strategy you're using. SEO, obviously, you want to make a good SEO agent would be making sure that they're adjusting and analyzing stuff every single month and making adjustments even almost every other week. But certain strategies like pay-per-click, you can kind of look at pretty quickly and understand whether or not it's working and set adjustment periods and stuff. But biggest thing is make sure it's periodical. Make sure for each strategy you have a time specifically set to alter those things or adjust those things. So next thing would be to use data and stats to make effective business decisions. This is so important. So many businesses and they get really emotional. There's small business owners. I'm the same way. I own this business and I get emotional and I sometimes make emotional decisions when I know I should be using data to make those decisions instead. So it's not like it's not gonna sneak up on you and just happen to every single person every other week, but it is something that happens to everybody, so you need to be aware of it. Don't make decisions based off emotions. So when it comes to your marketing, you can't just have a low sales month and just be like, our marketing is not working, this is crazy. Like there's a lot of factors that could play into that, right? So make sure you're using the data to figure that out. We see with Google Analytics or Google Ads, are you tracking conversions? Are you doing call tracking? What does your close rates look like with your sales team? What are your dispersion with your online leads versus your walk-in leads if you're a retail place or something? So that's the kind of information you want to look at. If I feel like I've had a low month, but I go in and I see my analytics and I see, well, man, I got a ton of website traffic and my SEO is doing great because I've got hundreds and hundreds of visits strictly from organic visits, which means from a search engine. So that's probably not my SEO that's not working. It may be my salesmen. Their close rates may be low. Maybe I'm not converting. Maybe my website sucks. Maybe I don't have good call to actions in place. Maybe I need to make those adjustments. So make those adjustments and those decisions based off data so that you're making an informed and educated decisions, not based off emotion. So this is the last point here is identify competition barriers. What's lacking? What maybe demographics aren't you targeting? What are some things that are maybe keeping you from excelling in your business and growing? And don't just ignore those. Don't just be frustrated by them. Embrace them. If you're in a rural area and there's not a lot of competition, you may be doing really well, but you're not going to get people knocking at your door just constantly trying to get business from you, or because it's a small area. So you have to take that into consideration. But plan around those barriers or plan to change them depending on what they are. Be realistic, but make those decisions using data and off what's actually bringing you a return on your investment. So to wrap all this up, I know there's like a lot of data and a lot of slides, and we'll share these slides with you if you really want them, and we can go into more detail with them as well. But to wrap it up, get your website in order. Step 2, use a variety of marketing tactics, and then consistently adjust your marketing tactics based off of results and data. Use data, not just feelings. So hopefully this helps. If you guys have questions, comments, anything you'd like to share, comment below or feel free to reach out to us and we can talk a little bit more about it. Thanks, guys.